Hello, Steve here. Welcome to Real Health. Who'd have thought health is about what we're eating? Join me on my quest to disseminate my go-to health regimen, the Health 44, my clumsy branding of eliminating 4 classes of food, introducing 4 classes of micronutrients. Bingo, bongo, health sorted. So thank you for your interest. Let's do this. Welcome, and here we go again. You've clicked on Health 3.0. The episode before this was Medicine 3.0. This is an extension pretty much off that, with some new insights, I guess, and what we should do for Medicine 3.0. Medicine 1.0, what was it? Yeah, eat this root. Sprinkle some of this herbs and spices. Did you know that spices are the root of a particular plant and the herbs are the foliage, the leaves, or that sort of thing? Yeah. So 1.0 was rudimentary, stabbing in the dark. Not too much different to Health and Medicine 2.0, where science. We brought science in, evidence-based practice. Experiment. The new nomenclature for experiment is study. Right? We don't want to have humans as guinea pigs, do we? So Health 3.0, as the 2.2 regulars will understand where I'm going, is micronutrients based, but not like Medicine 3.0 as Peter Attia would like to postulate, where monitoring, proactivity, using tech to diagnose and all that sort of thing, while being proactive by taking medication. What's prophylactically? Health 3.0 is fully taking the monitoring, the management of your ill health away from mainstream health, which is the ideal. The better term to use is allopathic medicine, or allopaths. Yes, medicine is an allopathic term. So Health 3.0 is micronutrients. Hopefully my prescription to the world, the Health 44, will be deployed. I can't see it happening based on the rudimentary presenting that I'm presenting, but the ideas are out there. I don't want to be 103 and to think back, why didn't I try and help the world? So at least it's out there, even though I'm hopeless at presenting and marketing for that matter. So Health 44. Health happens when you do the 44. You take away 4 classes of micronutrients, that first 4, the 44. Did I just say 4 classes of micronutrients? No, we take away 4 classes of food, which is 90+% of the supermarket: gluten, oils, sugars, nitrates, nitrites. There are nuances in there, and then you take in the 4 classes of micronutrients, which there's 90 declared essential micronutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids. No, there's not 9 essential fatty acids, there's 12. No, it's 16. Yeah, it's good to have 16 amino acids, but there's 12 that are essential that we need to take in daily. EFAs, there's a lot of work on EFAs, very important. But there's 90 declared essential micronutrients. If you include omega-9, that's 91. If you include, there's an omega-15 or 16, doing the research and results and outcomes, exposure out there. So, and the matters taking matters into your own hands would just indicate doing the Health 44 bloods. No. There might be a case, very few cases, where someone gets a chronic disease, a cancers, autoimmune disease, and still will have people blaming our family history, our genes. Still will be trying to externalize our responsibility. No. It's not genetic when 6 generations ago there was no obese people in your family. People with blood pressure and high cholesterol and diabetes, and we're not understanding cholesterol. Those scary numbers that we want to have low, very low, and using the Northern Hemisphere, the deciliter units, which most of the world will be using. There's nothing wrong with LDL of over 100, LDL of over, what's some of the levels that indicate no good. I think anything over 150 gets classified as not so good, or high. High, normal, low. I guess most pathologists use that sort of scale. Some have the red numbers versus the I've seen yellows, but anyway, HDL, the good cholesterol, yes, it's the good cholesterol, essential. Our body does make it, but we need to also take it in our diet to make sure the levels are high. We need to have high cholesterol numbers. I don't want to hijack this with high cholesterol numbers, but it's just to indicate we're not understanding those scary cholesterol numbers. We feel like we do. We feel like that cholesterol is high. This person had a heart attack, atherosclerosis. They just had an embolus and had a stroke, had a aneurysm, all that sort of thing, and we're going to blame cholesterol. And many of the keto and carnivore crowd would suggest that because the firemen are there, the firemen caused the fire. Cholesterol caused the issue. Maybe the firemen are there to put the fire out, to repair your physiology. I know I wasn't going to hijack Health 3.0 with cholesterol, but it's just an indicator that it's one particular scary number that we don't understand. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with having LDLs of over 200, total cholesterol of over 250, over 300. Yes, this is going to be another cholesterol example, but it's to show perhaps we don't understand blood markers that we fixate on. There's many blood markers out there, full blood counts, and renal and liver screening and all that sort of thing. And also, let's face it, that those low and high levels that go bing 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 to the doctor are based on a sickly population, and take it as with a grain of salt. Okay, so I've deployed. I haven't mentioned this. I've mentioned this with vitamin D. I came across this stat about 4 years ago, three and a half or so years ago. There's never been a case of cancer to ever have been current, existent, um, newly diagnosed, where there's been I'm using the millimoles here. Nanogram, no, I'm using the nanograms. Anyway, by mentioning the number, you'll know the units. Yes, I'm not organized with units, but I'm referencing the units where, is it millimoles? I think it might be nanograms. Anyway, a level between 20 and 50 is considered normal. There's never been a case of cancer recorded, a newly developed or existing, where a vitamin D level is under 40. And I deployed a couple of former nursing colleagues to just let me know. They didn't let me know for 6 months, 9 months, or 9 months in. Hey, do you remember when I asked you to? Hey, yeah, I've actually been checking. If they jump out in front of me, not go actively seeking, because nurses are busy and don't use government and private sector time for that. So out of the few handfuls of bing 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 numbers that show up, oh, so a couple of oncology nurses have indicated no, haven't seen a single case of cancer with the vitamin D level of over 40, and most weren't even over 30. There was 131, plenty of like 27, 23, and plenty like 13s and 11s. So that's that. And I've mentioned that before, but this I haven't. Cholesterol. It's more of like a 18 month to 2 years. Hey, let me know. Some mental health nurses, two, and one general nurse. Hey, just what's some of the cholesterol numbers that you see in mental health? Many mental health patients have a low cholesterol number, particularly the very acute or adverse, serious mental health cases, very low cholesterol numbers. I'm talking LDLs of under 100. Shouldn't that be healthy? Or and some of these people have metabolic syndrome issues with the whole obesity complex and that. Metabolic as in obesity, blood pressure, cholesterol. Wasn't even in that. Diabetes. One of those nurses is agency nurse, and they sometimes do nursing home shifts and dementia and Alzheimer's patients. Low cholesterol. Some of that is hospitals provide low cholesterol, low saturated fat meals. So you see where that comes in, and it's a bit that'll skew my ideas. The same nurse that does a few cardiac wards where they do angiograms and that sort of thing, and just while if they see numbers, many certainly under 150, most under 200 with the LDLs. HDLs doesn't, 60 is okay. So yeah, anyway, so those two examples with the vitamin D and the cholesterol is to indicate that even we don't understand those numbers to be proactive. So kidney function, liver enzymes, all that sort of thing would be probably part of that. Testosterone, other hormone markers and that sort of thing. I don't think we quite understand testosterone and progesterone and estrogen type levels either. So with Health 3.0, there has to be less third-party involvement. You have to take matters into your own hands. Get off the standard American diet, standard Western diet, the opportunistic omnivore people, high complex carbohydrates, the whole pyramid, nutritional pyramid, the 5 food groups, that they did the rounds 2 decades plus ago. I haven't fully poo-pooed vegan. It's just harder. Vegan numbers, cholesterol numbers in vegans can also be high. And the reason why that happens is the combination of rancid oils, all oils as well, and sugar intake tends to skew cholesterol numbers. The reason why I advocate for keto / carnivore for the normies out there, for the sickly people out there, which are running into some issues. It's almost a clean slate. It's the cleanest slate to start your health sorting out. So even though I am very keto / carnivore, I'm heavy keto, I'd probably class myself, where most of my diet is meat, eggs, yogurt, and hey, I also acknowledge that I was never much of a fruit and vegetable eater, more fruit in the past than vegetables, and I was very high in the complex carbs, which were fried or had sugar in it. So that the standard American diet at least should be in the doldrums, should be much less of an intake. I don't even believe in treats. Treat yourself, live a little, because the whole idea of especially having glutens in your diet, 98% of us will be damaging our villi in our small intestine decade after decade, and that's why we accelerate in our aging and illnesses after age 50. I was certainly experiencing a deterioration in health state in my early and mid 40s, and then I pulled it back from the brink, and now at 51, feeling like my 20s, and hopefully I've increased my life expectancy from about 63, the way I was before, to hopefully in my 90s, and God willing, maybe as a centenarian, one of those 1 in 10,000 people that become a centenarian. Back a century plus ago, 25 people per 10,000 were centenarians. How does that happen when our life expectancy was half? Yeah. Infant mortality, I often mention that, but because there's a high number of one-off listeners, I don't blame the one-off listeners, because yes, I monologue and unorganized, just this guy riffing. but I'm looking at picking things up in future. Don't worry. So we need to supplement. In part of health 3.0, we need to supplement, and because our food supply chain is stuffed, it's impaired. Most of our nutrition originates from the soils, and our soils are depleted of minerals. If the minerals aren't in the soil, they don't end up in the food and doesn't end up into us. And if new minerals don't enter the soil, the carrot and the lettuce that just got pulled out and the next harvest goes in without replenishing, that's a depletion even in one cycle turnover. And do that for a century and bingo bongo, we're in a worse state. We'd like to indicate that there's all these correlations that point to our obesity growth and chronic disease growth in the last couple of decades and the last half century. It all points to the carnivores out there will like to, especially, would like to suggest that it's the seed oils, the sugars, and taking away the saturated fat. That might be part of it, but what's happened is that no minerals in the soils. With those 3 million dams in the world, which have pretty much mitigated any seasonal flooding on the whole globe, the whole globe is catching up to the dire health state of the US. The US having very decent head start with deploying electricity first and putting all those hydroelectric dams up before everyone else, and that's why the US is ranking 40 plus, arguably the richest nation in the world per capita, sometimes ranking in the 50s, like 52nd in the world in longevity stats, spending more on health than the rest of the world combined, and they rank 50th in longevity. Something's going on there, right? And that's what's going on. The soil, the depletion in the soil, even in 1936, Senate paper 236, 234, in 1936, indicated that 2/3 of the soils, the farming soils in the US was depleted. Even a decade ago, that figure was around 82%. So it is a steady drip downwards, but that drip downwards, and also the prediction, the forecast that I've made in the podcast series, each half century from now, just take off 5 years of life expectancy. No, we're not going to go to average life expectancy to 90 in the year 2100. It's more likely to be 75, 72. Yeah, so take that. And if you're now 20 or younger, you'll see if the official stats don't inform you, just look around. George over here, or bloody Mary over there. Mary might be 92, but George might be 57. So even looking around, okay, that's certainly the case with me. There's very few octogenarians even out there in my people that I come across, my Dunbar's number. So to wrap up, Health 3.0 is firing your mainstream healthcare providers, taking responsibility into your own hands, and if something's happening to your health, like with me, something acute, like breaking my thumb and tearing my pictorial major, grade 2, class 2. Mainstream health, thank you. That's just recent times. So if you get run over by a bus or someone stabs you, mainstream health, emergency department, great. Thank you for your work. But in managing chronic disease, cancer, autoimmune disease, no. For acute management, antibiotics, steroidal type use, great. Preserve life. That's the whole mantra of triage, medicine triage, emergency department. Great. But not the acute stuff. The acute stuff starts with you. And I've certainly experienced medicine 3.0 with me, a miraculous miracle turnaround for me, and I hope others and the rest of the world at some point, if they do the Health 44. Okay, so Health 3.4 is about the Health 44. I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Okay, until the next time, bye bye. Oh.